It's a proper MPV, a proper carrier. And I feel like I don't compromise on comfort and the way it drives.
Good morning, Paulo.
Good morning to you.
So what are we driving today?
Today we have the Suzuki XL7 GLX. This is the single variant of the XL7 by Suzuki Philippines.
Okay, so there's only this.
It's only one variant so far. So this sits right on top of the Ertiga.
If we're talking about the little SUV type, MPV type cars of Suzuki, you've got the Jimny, you've got the Vitara, then you've got the two MPVs, which are the Ertiga and this, right?
Mm-hmm. Although the Vitara and the Jimny are SUVs.
Right, okay.
So the only ones you can call MPVs are this one and the Ertiga. The Ertiga has 3 rows also, just like this one.
Does this feel like a big jump up from the Ertiga?
It really does, you know, like you can really feel that you go a level higher. So the XL7 is a bit more of a premium MPV. Its direct competitors include the Toyota Rush, Mitsubishi Expander, and the Honda BRV. So I want to compare this car to its competitors. It's priced at 1.068 million pesos. So when I looked at its competitors, I limited it from 1 million to 1.1. So at that range, the most expensive is the top of the line Rush, which comes at 1.1 flat. And then the BRV and the Expander, somewhere in between, just like this one.
So and they're all kind of close to each other.
Very close, even with the specs. They have the same displacement. This one comes in at 103 horsepower, which is similar to the Rush and the Expander. The only one that's different is the BRV, which comes at 120 horsepower.
So the BRV is the more powerful of the
Yes, 120. But that one comes in a CVT. The two other rivals have automatic transmission. That's 4-speed.
Okay. Well, this is a basic car. It's not a funky transmission or anything.
It has a 4-speed automatic.
Okay. Is this front-wheel drive?
Yep.
What engine is this?
1.5 gasoline.
What engine is the Jimny?
It's also 1.5 gasoline.
How does this feel versus the Jimny?
It's pretty obvious to me that this one has a more immediate response when it comes to acceleration.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though this should weigh more.
It should, yeah.
What is it about this car that you like most?
It's a proper MPV, a proper carrier. And I feel like I don't compromise on comfort and the way it drives. Like, because for this one, the response of the acceleration is very immediate. There's no delay compared to CVTs or even other MPVs.
Okay.
I think this would be on the top in terms of comfort when it comes to the ride. I'm not talking about the quality of interior, okay? Just the ride. And you know, like the BRV sits pretty high on me when it comes to the ride.
Okay, do you feel it as light to drive as the Jimny was?
It's a lot lighter in terms of steering. I think it has that lightness with a bit of firmness I always look for. This one's at my perfect taste. I want to talk about the ride height because I noticed with the BRV, I felt like I was driving a hatchback or a sedan because it sits so low.
Yes.
I felt like I had to be more careful. Just like how careful I would have to be with a Vios or a City. But for this one, it has the ride height that I would expect from an MPV because that's a major factor for me when I'm buying like a car at this level. I wanted to be able to like take on some road with perfection. Comparing this to the Ertiga, in terms of the exterior, if you look at it as a whole, it looks very similar to the Ertiga. The foundation of the two cars are the same. Their basic look is the same, but the small details at the front, at the side, at the back, there are a lot of big changes. They had the lights, it has roof rails, the black claddings. The wheels are different. This sits 20 millimeters higher. Not so much, but it's still a difference. So it's not like you're cheapening out. And if you look at the price of the top of the line Ertiga and this one, it doesn't really go that far. So no question, I would get this one.
What do you like about the interior?
I love the interior. Of course, the typical Suzukis, the hard plastics in the Suzukis are more hard plasticky than your usual.
Yeah, that's hard plastic.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you're expecting.
It shares a lot of similarities with the Ertiga. For example, the infotainment system is the same 10-inch you find in the Ertiga. The basic layout of the dashboard is the same. But for this one, the XL7 adds this carbon fiber look. For this one, I think they integrated pretty well. They don't try to be fake or tacky by adding like fake threads. Right?
Yeah. Okay, get it.
That's
get
one
it.
thing I really admire about Suzuki. They don't have those things, but they still come out with good interiors. And then one major difference between this and the Ertiga are the aircon controls. For the Ertiga, you have 3 rotary dials, so it's not climate control.
But you still have the
still have
knobs,
this.
which we really like.
Yeah, but you know, like in the older cars, you use like
Yeah.
a bigger one, and then just 1, 2, 3 for the fan.
Yeah.
So for this one, it has buttons and a digital display for the temperature and the
Oh,
fan.
your phone is getting cold.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we love about this car is that the cup holders have aircon vents.
And we found that out because my phone got frozen.
Yeah, on the first day we got this car.
Yeah, it was really, really cold. Couldn't figure out why. It turns out they run venting through there, which you can turn off. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
fine. So it's not great if you have hot coffee, but then just turn that off, right?
That's a really cool touch.
Yeah.
I use it because of my portable Wi-Fi. It gets really hot fast. So I tried it. I was like, I'm gonna turn it on during my whole drive. It was okay.
That's hilarious.
And you know, even with the third row up, there's a lot of space at the back for cargo.
That's true.
And there's 2 small spaces under the floor where you can. I put the SLR there, no problem.
So it won't roll around anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very smart when it comes to like spaces. There's a big space here for the phone. Cup holders are adequate. You have bottle holders and
Yeah, there's more space here than there is
in the Jimny. Yeah. The car has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So now we're gonna try Apple CarPlay. It's just as simple as connecting it and pressing the option, and it's right there. Like, you don't usually find this kind of responsiveness in Apple CarPlay in most models I've tried. And then you can use either Waze or Google Maps, but I think it's pretty standard anyway. But what the most interesting part about this is that in one screen you can have your maps on, your navigation. You can have your Spotify in the middle, and you have events here and like our calendar. This kind of interface is usually seen in most models with Apple CarPlay.
They really utilize the screen surface.
So it's not just a big 10-inch screen. It's very responsive. It's very pleasant to use, and it's probably one of the more impressive infotainment systems we have right now.
So what would you wish for in this car? What is it you think that it could do a little bit better with?
There's a pretty good rear camera,
Yeah.
but there are no guides.
That is so
that's a
picky.
small thing, but I would also, maybe we can have more cameras on the sides.
Well, except this is so tiny, right? I mean,
It does,
you need a 360.
you don't really need it.
So-
I was gonna say I wish it had more airbags because right now it only has 2.
Okay, I'm okay with the 2 airbags because this has stability control.
Yes.
I think the stability control is the next generation safety level that these cars all have to have. Do the other cars, the BRV, the Rush, and so on, have stability control?
The Rush has one,
Okay.
the BRV has one, the Xpander doesn't.
So who's this car for, Paulo?
This car is for people who are looking for an everyday car and they have a family that they will have to bring to work, to school, and it's something you wouldn't mind to drive on your own. This could be a driver car too.
Yeah.
It's very versatile because, you know, like if I have a driver but you also want to drive yourself sometimes,
Okay.
it's very pleasant to drive. It's very quiet. It's very smooth.
Would you buy this for a kid going to college?
Yeah. Because it's affordable. It's a bang for the buck car.
And it's actually utilitarian, so if you do
It
gotta
is.
move stuff, you can
It is.
drop this stuff down.
It's a utilitarian car with a bit of like comfort features.
Yeah, but not too much.
Not too much.
Because you don't want to get them spoiled
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah,
Having a car alone is a big, I mean,
Mhm.
it's a 1 million peso car. For me, for this car, I wouldn't be worried about parking it anywhere, really. It's just not a big ticket item. You know, I mean, people will probably break in to steal our GoPros.